Let's be back here again. How y'all doing?
We're good. We knocking on 200.
Yep.
We knocking on it. At least we don't pull it up to it. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. Bro, can you do that knock again, bro? That was an efficient knock, bro. Bro was hitting it.
You gotta get in a good space though, like that right there.
Bro, and like you look like you're on the Ring camera. Like I can watch you from my phone, bro. This nigga really knock on the door.
Shout out to Ring, by the way. They need to sponsor us.
Hey, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
With that knock that you just did, by the way.
Literally. All right, man. Let's get started with our intro. Let's be real. All right. And as always, y'all know y'all can listen to us we are on 11 different podcast platforms and 12, including YouTube. So I ain't about to name them all. Spotify, Stitcher, Google, iHeart, you name it.
At this point, it ain't no excuse. It ain't no excuse to say you can't find us at this point.
All right, man. Let's get on track. Hey.
Yes.
Memphis IARP case, Skylar.
Because that's going to be a very difficult segue. I'll tell you that much. But much awaited, bro. This has been a case that, or at least a cloud over the University of Memphis Tiger basketball program over the past year or two, since this whole James Wiseman incident went down, in which there was documents to say that Penny Hardaway paid money to the mother of James Wiseman to have her come to Memphis, or to have him play basketball in Memphis. In which then a year or two after that, he was the Memphis basketball coach. And so there was speculation, there was hate essentially thrown on his name to say there was improper benefits given from Penny Hardaway to James Wiseman. To make all of that happen is he essentially almost in a sense forced his way to be the Memphis head coach. So since then, the NCAA has, along with the IARP, has put allegations against Memphis to say, those were improper benefits. Penny Hardaway somehow, some way flexed his way to be the head coach. And so the case finally came to an end. Thank God, because it seemed like every time that I got excited for Memphis basketball, I got reminded about the case is coming, the results of it was on its way. So essentially what happened is Memphis got a slap on the wrist. The IRP essentially ruled in the Memphis's favor to say that in no shape or form did Penny do anything outside of what he was allowed to do to essentially give James Wiseman that money. There was nothing that he tried to do to essentially get whatever the coach's name was at that time out of his job or whatever. So it's good to see that. I think they only got I think 3 vacated games, if I'm not mistaken. There's some random seminar class that somebody has to take. And then essentially they're just on probation for the next 3 years to say, essentially, we don't want you guys catching, or you don't want to catch us you guys don't want to be doing something difficult or getting caught in something, in some type of issue or whatever. So it's good that all of this is over with. It's good for the program to be able to move on and get ready for the season. So I'm not sure if y'all are into this case, but have at it.
Yep. Like Jesus, like you said, for the next 3 years, like Jesus once said, don't get caught. Hey, next 3 years, don't get caught. Literally. Got 3 years probation, 10 seminars, and don't get caught with anything, or you're gonna get the hammer shot for real. How to explain this IARP case? It's shocking. I can't say it's not shocking, for sure. Especially for us, Memphis, who they always seem to get. Apparently, they made some good arguments. Gary Parrish still banging his head, saying that he's still shocked and he don't know how they feel for those arguments. But hey, it is what it is, man. We got through, celebrate our wins. We're moving forward. Shout out to Penny, no suspension. The 3 vacated games, so I'm assuming the 3 games James Wiseman played in, and we lost one of those games. So I guess they vacated the loss. Cool with me. They said they vacated 3 wins. He played 3 games and we lost one of them. So I don't know which other win they vacated, but shout Shout out to IARP. I'm pretty sure now. Unfortunately, other teams, the other teams always get away with stuff anyway, but Kansas definitely will probably be getting away with the stuff that they did because a lot of people thought they weren't going to get a chance to defend their national championship. They probably ain't going to get the hammer dropped on them now as well. And a couple other teams, I think, was under the fire with the IARP. So I think they're just trying to rest this process with the IARP, especially since players are getting paid now. So it's like you can't really punish them for paying folks anymore. So it's cool with us. We ride. Let's get ready for the season.
Yeah, I like. Go ahead, too.
Go ahead, bro.
I like the connection you made also about players are getting paid now, anyways. So I mean, I know it was like not yesterday or last year, but again, we're at a different stage in our lives and careers as a whole with the sports nation. I'm just glad that Memphis doesn't suffer in regards to not being able to play in tournaments and having quote unquote a postseason, so to speak, at the collegiate level, and it also doesn't damage recruiting. Yes, there's a cloud over them, so to speak, or over University of Memphis basketball in regards to can't do anything wrong. But I mean, as long as you don't do nothing wrong, we good. And we could play in the NIT and the NCAA tournaments and without fault. And to your point, vacating the 3 games, 2 wins, 1 loss, 3 wins, doesn't matter. Didn't make or break us to win a championship or anything like that. So that's water underneath the bridge, and let's move on.
So with me, I honestly, being straight up, forgot about the case because I felt that it wasn't as damaging as I thought it could have been. And what I mean by that is that if you literally look at the facts, like Shark, you were talking about Gary Parrish and how they were shocked, about how this case got away. I'm not. If you literally look at the facts of James Wiseman literally being able to play at East High School, which is kind of where everything started, if the TSSAA, they cleared him, they allowed him to play for Penny at East High School, what's the issue from the start? You know what I'm saying? If Penny is already giving money to his alma mater, which that's what a lot of athletes do when they get a lot of money. That's what people do when they get a lot of money. That shouldn't have been an issue either way. So now that he's coaching, and I guess he's still giving money to the university, that shouldn't have mattered. So to me, if you literally put your facts straight, put your ducks in a row, that this was just spotlight for the University of Memphis program, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? You got a case that probably somebody was hating on Penny because he was getting all the top recruits, especially James Wiseman. You know what I'm saying? And you put James Wiseman in an unfortunate situation because we were talking about how he had to pay Penny money back. Like that was some BS. Like this been a whole BS case that I'm finally happy that it's solved. It was a small dark cloud that could have gotten bigger, of course, but the fact that athletes are getting paid now, I think helps with this situation right now for sure. But from the jump, something just seemed fishy. And if you, like I said, put the ducks in a row from beginning to end, he played high school. He was able to come to University of Memphis with no problems. He played games, no problems. And out of nowhere, this case come. It was a BS. But Wiseman still, solidified himself, or is solidifying himself in the league. So thank God for that.
Yeah, and I think and again, I was shocked because a lot of people thought that at minimum Penny was going to be suspended for some games, like he had to sit out. So I was at least expecting that, but like to see like this is all that they got, like it was extremely shocking to me. And I think another thing that they ruled in favor was like it was hard to prove for me to say like, yeah, I'm going to make all of these moves that way I can be the coach of the men's basketball team. I think that was the most difficult thing for me. And like I didn't even understand like why this was the case anyway. Like for me, honestly, I didn't care that, Penny Hardaway gave him the money. Like that was years before he became the coach. But for people to say that he did all of those moves and he did X, Y, and Z to become the coach while I think Tubby Smith had just got hired, if I'm not mistaken. So like, how does
people still talking about Tubby Smith?
Yes, like that. I think that's part of the reason. Like, I don't know who said what, but I'm of a believer that either some of this came from Calipari and his staff, or Tubby Smith and his staff. It came from one of the two places. It couldn't have come from anybody within Penny Hardaway's camp. So, like, I think that's why a lot of this came to fruition.
And also, the NCAA started. It was so they ruled James Wiseman ineligible. It was because they still played him. When they did that, that's when NCAA went on campus and started doing their investigation because they played them ineligibly. If they had just not played them, and he probably still got a 6 to 12 game suspension, he might have stayed. But that wasn't really on Penny. That was more on who was the Tom Bowen and President Rudd. That was really more on them. They were supposed to stop that, and they didn't. So that's why a lot of people didn't really truly get on blame Penny, but NCAA was coming after Penny. And also TWSAA did take back those they had nothing to do with NCAA. They took back East championships. They took them away. Penny playing to get James Wiseman there. So they did take those from East, unfortunately.
Damn it, East.
Yeah, and honestly, shout out to for the school, and shout out to President Rudd for like even having the guts to fight this case. Like, I mean, he stood right there toe to toe with Penny. Like, they never, in a sense, came off as if they didn't have his back. Like, they were willing to fight this case. Like, when a lot of schools probably would not have, they would have done some self-imposed thing, X, Y, and Z. But for them to really have his back, in my opinion, like, shows how much that the program and the university cares about Penny.
Yep. And like my guy Dom just said, he just come in and said, at the time, nobody knew Tubby was leaving. Like, it's, Memphis still was thinking about keeping Tubby because they had so many, he had 2-3 years left on the contract. They still was like, we didn't want to pay that, but if we can get Penny in here, we're going to go ahead and pay the buyout and break in Penny because they ain't have to pay Penny much. He came kind of did it for a discount initially.
I still can't believe Tubby Smith was part of the conversation. Like, there's more people on this podcast than at the games when he was coaching.
I'm
like,
yelling.
Come on,
chill out. Hey, chill out.
Come on,
it's something with the coaches, those higher upper coaches, or those, when you make friends in the industry and they just, the respect level, I don't know. It's what it is. But
it's amazing how people don't want to see other people succeed. I think that's the biggest thing in all of this. People really be praying on your downfall.
Yep. But like I said, we're good to go. Season start in a couple years. We're not too far from it.
That's in a couple weeks.
Couple weeks. No Memphis Madness this year, but they're gonna have a block party. So
I'm pulling up.
Stay tuned. Right. You got to go to
that. Give videos for me, man.
For sure. All right, next subject. Let's go to the football field. Tua Tagovailoa. Now we know, of course, the injury history gets injured a lot, but this is stuff got real serious this week. So I'm pretty sure everybody on this podcast saw what happened in the Buffalo game. That first initial hit, he fell down, hit his head. He got up wobbling. He came back into the game in the second half. He played well in the second half, but it looked like a concussion, right? They say it was a back injury. That didn't look like no back, right? But you get to Thursday, I just knew ain't no way he about to play 4 days later. They put him back on this field again. Same hit. And this time he's out again. Fingers crossed. Gets taken to the locker room, really serious. Gets taken to the hospital. It does come out that he does have a concussion. It was just really prayers up for Tua. A lot of arguments on social media about who's at fault for this and all that good stuff. So what are y'all thoughts about just this week for Tua and the injuries and the NFL's protocols with concussions and all the yada yada? Start Rashidi to this guy.
I will say that in regards to this incident, I think Tua's too young to understand his, I don't want to say importance, so to speak, to the team, but like what it can do long term. And I think I wish Tua would have been like, no, like I'll have to sit this game out. Now I get it. There's a pride thing that goes on in all sports, especially professional athletes. And like, if you feel like you can go, you'll go. And I feel like even after what happened to him on Sunday, being reevaluated, he felt like he can go, I don't know, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, what have you, definitely right before Thursday started. It just, like, one game could cost you your whole career. And I hope nothing happens to him in regards to like a CTE or anything like that moving forward with him. Again, he is one of those players that's more injury prone than anything. We just have to learn just to say, no, I can't do it. And the crazy part is we will bash, and hear me out, we will bash professional athletes for not playing when they're hurt. Meanwhile, we as regular people, I get a cold, I got the flu, I ain't going to work. I might not go to work for 2 days. I need to get myself together. But we don't give that same leniency to athletes, maybe because they make millions of dollars more than me. I don't know. They definitely make way more money than I do. But they just have to learn how to say no. And they're human beings too. And, you know, again, Tua is supposed to be their long-term quarterback. And right now, it's looking just as wildly as he was when he got up after that. I can't believe that they even put him back in the game. He literally looked like a baby deer on skates after he got up. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to, you know, get no punchlines there, but he got to be ready to say no. At the end of the day, just got to say no.
You know, you say something about, you know, them being human or whatever. You know, a few years ago, we had a president come out and say that the prisoners would run in the prison. So take what you want with that quote. As far as Tua go, y'all know me, I've been real critical as far as Tua's injury history go. But this was unexpected. You know, this is unwarranted. This was, if you ask me who's to blame, I'm putting all the blame on the Miami medical staff. Like Ryan just said, Brian Flores literally told y'all what type of organization this is, and now they're showing the true colors. If you look at Tua, and somebody within the organization should have known that this guy's history of injury is long as Santa Claus list, right? Like, it's just long. So the fact that he was injured, for one, that should have been the biggest red flag in the world. The fact that you put him back out there against what you said, the Bills game last week, right? Yeah, the Bills game. The fact that you put him out there again, that means you really disregarded everything about this man. Like, dude literally stays injured, and it's 4 days later. Literally 4 days later. You got, my opinion, the most injury-prone quarterback in the league, just from college to now. And you literally disregarded this man's health. And the fact that it was a concussion, there was no back issue, there was no other BS that they tried to attach to that. It was straight head, it was a straight concussion, and he should have been out. So I think at this point, we may see some kind of charges being pressed. Like, we may have seen, you know, to his last days as a Dolphin, because if I'm Tua, I would have been on IR last week for sure. But now, you know, concussion, I don't expect him to play. I honestly don't expect Tua to play again this season. If I'm the Dolphins, and I know he's fighting for a contract, which is why I think he was really on that field, Sheedy. I think that was the number one reason he was on the field, is because he was literally fighting for a contract. And it sucks. The pressure behind that is terrible. But the fact that you're trying to get a big bag after everybody calling and saying everything about you, all that pressure kind of gets to you. So a little bit is on him. But the Miami Dolphins should have protected their star quarterback in the future. And now you got a chance of not even seeing him for the rest of the season. So if you ask me who's to blame, it'll be the Miami Dolphins front office.
I mean, you literally almost took the exact words right out of my mouth. But I think it's more, I think Tua has, again, calling a spade, I think Tua has to take more ownership of that. I think players also, I mean, I get it. Because to your point, too, like, he's fighting for a contract. Like, almost since the day that he was drafted, essentially in some form or fashion, Miami has shown him that they didn't want him. Like, if you talk about like when he was drafted, like, there was talk that, I think there's been talk since Tua was drafted that they wanted Justin Herbert, I believe. Yeah. So they wanted him. So then not long after that, there were rumors within the Miami Dolphins that they wanted Deshaun Watson. So then that came and went. And even as of this season, like this past offseason, there was talk about them still like having a chance of like going after Lamar Jackson. So he's hearing all of this, and he's like
Brady too.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like that's where it comes from. Like, I get it. Like, he wants to, you know, prove that he wants to prove that he's their quarterback, like he's the future. But at the same time, he has to also say like, hey, bro, I can't go. I think that's part of it. Like, again, the medical staff, yes, own that. Head coach, yes, own that. Like, but I think also like he has to own that to himself to say like, yeah, I shouldn't have went out there. And he may not say that today. He may not say that tomorrow. He's definitely gonna say that in 20 years when he watches that film. He's gonna say like, I should have just called it. I shouldn't have went out there. I shouldn't have went out there. And so that's the only thing that I would disagree with y'all on. Like, he has to take more ownership of that himself. I would also say, we talked about this before we went on the air, like, I'm cool with like not having Thursday night games. I think we've get it. The fans can watch it no matter if it comes on a Monday or Wednesday after Wednesday night Bible class. NFL is going to always watch it. I'm of the mindset, put the games on Saturday nights. We talked about, again, right before we went on air, most college football games or the primetime college football games are like 2:30, 3:30. So then the night games consist of USC and Oregon State, or like Ohio State and Nebraska. We cool on that, fam. Like, put the game on Saturday night. Give those players the extra day of rest instead of having it on Thursday. So I think the NFL owns a little bit part of that as well too.
Yep, totally agree. Definitely with your last point, Skyler. Like I said, we had a discussion before we got on air. I was like, yeah, college football games, normally those night games are blah. And it's nothing like the 2:30 games, the 2:30 SEC CBS games, which we're going to be losing in a couple of years when they leave CBS. But, hey, Tua, and like I told y'all in the group me, Twitter could get pretty toxic and just people blaming everybody and a bunch of doctors and people, act like they know everything. So, like, you see the injury, it looked like a concussion. Of course, other things we're looking for, I was showing my wife, she's a nurse, showed her the injury and stuff. And she was saying she just hope he ain't got a brain bleed, bleed in the brain and everything. And Dom actually just made a great point too, because she also told me you can't recognize concussion instantly, right? So he was saying they should change the diagnostic to demonstrate concussed symptoms instead of, because you're not going to diagnose the concussion right away. Scott, what you had?
No, finish your point. I was just letting you know.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So you see a dude walking, don't put him back in the game, right? And like I told y'all, Tua. And I think, like I said, him being young, when we was young, when I played football when I was younger, I played through injuries, and I'm paying for it now, right? It's a thing. You grew up, be tough, play through your injuries, all this. But like you said, put yourself first, man. And like Savage said, Dolphins showed so many times that they try to choose somebody else over him. Choose yourself. You just had the great game against the Ravens. Hey, I just got concussion. I'm about to sit down, right? The medical staff, it's conflicting reports on, I guess, is the NFL or some type of other veteran. Corrected. My wife is a nurse practitioner. She just posted up a sign for me.
As she should have.
And practitioner on the end of that. I got you. Okay.
She's like, all right, get this shit straight.
But yeah, it's conflicting, I guess, with the NFL. It's more than a Dolphins medical staff. So it's another medical staff that's ahead of them. Like the NFL provides every team that I guess they said he could play. So they went down to the medical staff for the team. Either way, NFL trying to get their money. They want their stars on the field. Tua is upcoming, how he was played in that Ravens game, how he was playing that Bills game before he got concussed. They like, putting it back on the field, right? So it's up to the players to put themselves first. And I think that's why I start not to get, like Kawhi Leonard a couple years ago. He put himself first over the Spurs. A lot of people got on Kawhi. I look at that now. It's like he made the right decision, right? No, they're trying to put me back out there. Now I'm about to go get a second opinion. If I ain't right, I ain't getting back out there. Lonzo Ball this year. I don't think the Bulls are trying to force him to get on the court, but him saying, hey, I could barely walk up the stairs. No, I'm about to get this knee checked out again and again and make sure I'm right before I get back on the basketball court. So players just need to learn how to put themselves first, because the league is not going to put them first. The league is going to always try to come out there. They're going to get the players, the stars. They want the stars out there. Saw that documentary on Netflix about Tim Donaghy and the officials, that whole scandal. That was saying how they want the star players on the court. Don't call fouls on star players and stuff like that. So the star players, injuries, whatever, they're going to try to get the folks on their court. That's what, on the court, on the field, whatever. That's their plan, man. Here's some comments. Ryan said Tua like the guy that's trying to impress a girl that don't want to. Miami never want him to begin with. That wasn't easy.
But the reason I raised my hand is another thing that I would like for the NFL to do as well is, if a player cannot physically get off the field on his own, he should not return in the game. Period. Whether it's a concussion, whether it's a leg, whether it's a shoulder, whatever the case may be, if he has to be carried off that field in some form or fashion, just sit him for the rest of the game. And then whatever results or testing that you need to do after that, then do that. But I think they also need to implement that as well.
Yep, I totally agree. Also, another example, Baker Mayfield last year. He played through that shoulder injury for a contract. What we just talked about too, same thing, and hurt his stop doing it. Like, choose yourself first, man. Like, you only gonna mess yourself up more in long term trying to play through and everything. So it's a players got to learn. The players got to learn that fine line on when they actually take care of themselves. But the league gets the majority of the blame. The Dolphins get the majority of the blame, but we already know that they're not going to do right. So the players need to take it on upon themselves, take care of themselves.
Yeah, that's just to add on to what we've all have said. Again, Tua and any other player know that whatever market it is, NFL, NBA, whatever, is always going to put, to your point, you guys' point, the best product out that they can. And it's like, okay, great. But like, once you get done with your job, so to speak, how much are you really enjoying that contract you just received if you got to be in the hospital or recovering for 10, 11 months, worrying about that. So I'm not a millionaire, so I don't know how to feel about that. However, I don't want to be a millionaire and then not have total use of my brain or total use of my limbs, so to speak. I'd rather be my broke ass going from check to check, worrying about that, and then having full functionality as opposed to having limited mobility or having another nurse having to help me out with stuff like that. I can't go. So I think we're learning to be putting ourselves first. I think Tua is just not ready to do that yet. But thankful for those other examples. Thank you, Sharp, for pointing out like Kawhi and Lonzo as well. I don't think Lonzo plays at all this season, as a matter of fact. But players just need to understand that once they're done playing, somebody else is going to step up regardless. You're going to be replaced. But I get you for the contract for now, but somebody's going to make millions more than you right after that too.
For sure. And moving forward, staying on the field, let's get on to week 4 upset picks. Looking at the schedule for the NFL season for this week 4. And also starting this week, we might start, well, not this week. We got the next, maybe some power rankings since we passed the first month of the season. When we start to figure out what teams are actually good and not good for real. Instead of I've seen teams start 3-0 and end season 4-12 before. So, first month is kind of a wash. So but let's say picks. I guess I'll start off. I'm looking directly at the schedule. I'm not picking on more revenge games, Savage. I know it's the Peterson revenge game on the Eagles. I'm not picking. I'm staying away from that. I missed badly last week. But I am. The Texans beat the Chargers last year. I got them beating the Chargers again this year. The Texans, in their 3 games, they're 0-2-1, but they have been in every single one of them games, and they have literally like blown the games and been there at the end. Their defense is something to be reckoned with. They trying. And I think they got the Chargers at home. The Chargers are reeling some. Justin Herbert in their rib injury, a player that probably should, once again, take care of yourself, Justin Herbert. Trying to play through that rib injury. May need to chill out. But give me the Texans over the Chargers.
I think my Steelers are going to lose to the Jets, ladies and gentlemen. I
thought about that one.
Yeah, and but I'm keeping a buck with you. Half of me wants to lose the game. The other half is like, hey, bro, it's the Jets. Like, hey, can't be out here. Not granted, the Jets aren't as bad as people thought they were. Zach Wilson is returning. Sauce Gardner is real. Gary Wilson is real. I think I like the coach, Robert Saleh, as well. I just think that the Steelers are probably going to lose this game. Mitch Trubisky, Matt Canada, that combination is not it. So again, it's just part of me wants to like at least maybe like lose the game just so we can say like, hey, bro, clock is ticking for Kenny Pickett. Like, I've seen enough of Mr. Trubisky. Now, granted, it's not all Mr. Trubisky's fault. Matt Canada has a lot to blame, but I also feel like Mike Tomlin has some blame as well too. Y'all get on me all the time about appreciating who Mike Tomlin is, and I get that. But I also again feel like in this moment in time, like he has to step up and say, like, I have a chance to win my division, but I'm gonna keep riding it out with the guy, or also the offensive coordinator that I know is not giving me what I need. So there's that. I think the Jets are gonna beat the Steelers. I'm gonna hide as I go on mute. As I said.
Yeah, real quick, Scott, before anybody else go. To your point about my town, it's been what 14 years now. Like I think after a certain amount of time, it's like okay, he keep having winning seasons, but we ain't doing nothing right. I kind of
fresh blood.
He's starting to like Marvin. You know, I ain't gonna say Marvin Lewis from the Bengals. Starting to feel like that because he won Super Bowl very early.
Similar division.
And hasn't really won since then. Playoff games. So starting pretty on the Marvin Lewis side. So I'm getting your point on Mike Tomlin nowadays.
Yeah, and it's also like again, part of my frustration too is like the problems that they have today is the same issue they've had for the past 3 or 4 years. It's the lack of being able to like put up points and like what is like I don't understand what he's doing to fix that situation. He like Matt Canada was his call, like Mitch Trubisky was his call, and like having Ben Roethlisberger on the roster for as long as it was, that's his call, and it's just like. Hey, bro, like I need something new. I need innovate. Like I want to see points, and like he's not putting them in a situation to put up points.
You see, if I'm gonna pick one, let me see. I'm gonna help Sheedy out. I actually got the Bears beating the Giants. If you look at Justin Herbert, he's yet to have a game over 150 yards, and I think this could possibly be that game. David Montgomery is not playing, but I think they look a lot better with Khalil Herbert anyway. And he's on a monster run the last couple games too. So don't ask me why. I just got the Bears beating the Giants.
Not a bad one. It's rounded that they're 2-1, but
both of them, both teams 2-1.
Like I said,
and like you look at the Giants, like all their games have been close outside the one they got their ass whipped by the Cowboys last week, but they've all the other 2 games by field goal they won. So I think the Bears, if they get a chance, they can be right there. And like it's time for a breakout game for Justin Fields.
I just want the Giants to also get a quarterback. Like Daniel Jones is not it. It's so like.
See,
I could not be a fan of Daniel Jones, bro.
We know somebody that is though.
Somebody that was.
There was, yeah.
Right,
it's cool because like with our teams, like me and you, Scott, specifically, we finally got a quarterback in waiting at least, right? A team like them, it's like, we stuck with Daniel Jones. And now they actually win it a little bit, so it's like, dang, we can't even tank.
That's got to be a terrible feeling. Oh, that's got to be a terrible
feeling. That's what Darren said. We came on the show. He was like, bro.
God. Sorry, Sheedy, I had to say that.
Nah, you good, man.
Right on cue, dog. Right on cue.
She had the same reaction. Me and she had the same reaction.
I had to suffer count. Hey, Cooper Rush still started, man. I don't know if I trust him quite yet. That's good.
With them black jerseys on. Hello? No, sir. I should have said it last week, but I didn't. But anyways, I think last week I went against this team. And I mean, this man showed his ass last week and showed why he deserves a contract. And they got them losing at home to the Bills. But give me the Ravens to win this game. I think Lamar Jackson's on an MVP course. You're talking about an MVP, Savage? Your MVP is in Baltimore right now, and it's there for a while. He's throwing the ball. Yeah, he's not giving you Peyton Manning throws, but I mean, he's doing what he has to be done. And a capital S twice. And then I won't get about the defense. But anyways, I just don't think the Bills will win.
They just trolling you, CJ, man. They just trying to troll you, man.
Hey, Savage, I'm going to see you about an hour, though. That's all right. I'm going to see you about an hour, Savage. But it's okay because, you know, he suffered with a lot with the Eagles. And now all of a sudden he becomes a fan of the Eagles again because they're winning. So I know how he goes. Yes, I'm glad this is being recorded. This is live. This is broadcasted. You didn't give a damn about them Eagles last season or the season before that or the season before that. You care when they won the Super Bowl. Yes, sir, you did, but ain't been a fan since. You're just a fan of football, my ass, with a capital A and a capital S. So I will say, give me the Ravens. And the Eagles can still win the division, but don't be cheering for them no more. I'll see you in an hour, sir.
Cuz snapped. And I don't even think you had that written down to say all of that. No, that you snapped.
I did. It came from the chest. It came from the corazon, the heart.
Man, we've been on a podcast with this dude for like a month, and this is the first time we hearing any of this. You've been holding shit in for a month.
Well, it's all basketball now.
For years.
Here.
For years.
Ain't been a fan for the Eagles since Nick Foles was there. Stop it.
Sheesh.
Stop it. Since they won the Philly special. Stop it.
That's tough.
Chuck, you said for years.
Dang.
Well, we wasn't even in COVID yet. That's
I don't even remember what game you just picked. I don't remember what
he picked up.
Yeah,
he picked
Ravens.
the Bills.
Oh,
Ravens
yeah,
on the
that's
Bills.
right.
Which
Right.
I guess that's considered an upset. In my opinion, they're trying their best to hype up their great white hope in Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson is better, and Baltimore is better so far this season. So to me, that's not even upset. But yeah, that's an upset compared to the national media. We're gonna,
Josh Allen can throw and Lamar Jackson can't.
Have you seen Lamar Jackson this year?
No, I'm just saying.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Never mind.
I was like,
you know me. I'm rocking with Lamar all the way.
So to speak to the greatness of Lamar Jackson by himself is the 11th best offense in the league right now. By himself.
Sheesh.
Ladies and gentlemen, like boys and girls, Lamar Jackson is that dude. I understand and I feel where he was coming from when he was like, no, if you're not going to fully guarantee my contract, then, I'll continue to play these 1-year deals or we can discuss about being franchise tag, but I want my money. And he's showing exactly why the Baltimore Ravens should have been like, hey, bro, you should have just gave him the bag. So, Lamar Jackson is it. I'm excited for the game. I'm becoming a big Josh Allen fan myself. I don't think he's the next great white hope, but he can throw the damn football.
That's how they are. That's how it seems like it.
I think he's one of the better quarterbacks
he's
in
good.
the league.
He's really good.
He's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. So I think to see, again, potentially, I think there are points going to be put up in this game. I said that last week. I thought about the Bills and Dolphins, but that didn't happen. But it's okay. I feel like I may be right in this one. I think both teams are going to put up some points. So I think it'll be a good game. It's a good picture, Sheedy.
Yeah, and Josh Allen is great. Yeah, he's one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league. But it do feel like they're giving him a whole lot more shine than even Pat Mahomes nowadays. It just feel like they trying to put the black quarterbacks down. That's how I feel a little bit, but we'll see.
That's how I just feel now, or this has always been going on.
It feel like a little more now. We'll what you to say? Broncos or Raiders?
Yeah,
Raiders are favored.
Yeah, they are. Yes.
Yeah.
How? I know they're
because they got to win the game.
Well, I put this way.
I feel like the Broncos look shit.
Broncos haven't looked good. Yeah, they haven't looked good. So I guess I can. Yeah,
it's okay. But this Josh McDaniels guy that people think is the best. Yeah. Hey, bro. It's the second stint. He didn't do well in Denver. He didn't do well in Denver, and he ain't doing well now. And in my opinion, to start the season 0-3 in that division. It's good night. It may be a wrap. Yeah. Now, granted, I think they're only a game or 2 behind. It's a long season, but still, Josh McDaniels ain't it.
Nah, the Raiders haven't won a game since last season, and I don't know if it's going to stay that way or not. But I mean, the Broncos.
Who the Broncos?
The Broncos are the worst 2-1 team I've ever seen.
The Bears, it's a lot of 2-1 teams this year. Just not.
That's true. Okay, I hear that. The Bears are 2-1.
They out there. They out there. Yeah. They out there though. Raiders find a way better than other teams to lose. 1-10. All right, man. Let's get this. Let's go and get to our word from our sponsor. Let's Be Real Media is pleased to announce we are sponsored by Ralph Brand. Ralph culture is surrounded by skates, punk, and hip-hop art. We are looking forward to co-designing materials for this journey with them. Please visit ralphbrand.com for purchasing merch now and for future collaborations with Let's Be Real Media. All right, we back. NBA season or training camp has started. Preseason has started as well. So, of course, we got to get to some NBA topics. And as always, I'd be remiss to shout out Three the Hardaway. 2 guys on here right now, Taylor and Sheedy, along with Savage. Of course, y'all go there for all y'all NBA content with player lists and a whole lot of other stuff that they have planned coming forward. But course, we're still gonna talk about some NBA things on Let's Be Real as well. So today, and probably gonna do a little series with this, but we're gonna do a little NBA contenders, pretenders game, right? We're gonna get a lot of teams around the league. It seems like the league is deeper more than ever. Really deep, like a legit 10, 11 teams that can in the Western Conference. It's just like really good. That a team might miss the playoffs and miss the play-in that you like, oh, they were really good. They missed the play-in. Even in the Eastern Conference, like they can go about 9-10 deep. So they want to get with. So this week's edition, I want to get with some of the teams that have a lot of turmoil coming to the season. So let's start with the Phoenix Suns. Of course, Robert Sarver, Nell ordeal, DeAndre Ayton, them not wanting to pay him last year, him wanting out, or did sign the contract with Indiana, them Phoenix matching it, but also they act like they didn't want him. The press conference, he didn't really seem very happy. He also said he hadn't really talked to Monty Williams this offseason since their confrontation in the playoffs. Chris Paul also has some comments that just was like, yeah, we just gonna, keep it going this season. So Suns, also Jay Crowder is out pretty much. So some going on in Phoenix. They had the best record. Then their game 7, they melted, lost by 40 to Dallas at home. Contender, pretender. What y'all got for the Phoenix Suns this season?
For me, it's funny because like coming out here, they went immediately to the NBA Finals, and then now they're in the situation that they're in now. So it's like really, literally, to answer your question, I watched the sunrise, and now we're watching the sunset. They're contenders. No, I'm saying they're pretenders. They're pretenders. For the simple fact of you got a center that really don't want to be there. You got an ownership group that's about to come in. That's probably I'm not gonna say clean house, but 9 times out of 10, once you get a new ownership group, they do want to make their stamp on an organization sooner than later. You still got Luka Doncic, of course, to worry about, but I think within their organization, like they look heartless right now. Like they let the Mavericks take their heart out last year. They damn near let the Pelicans take their heart out last year. And they're losing Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder don't want to be there. That's toughness. You lose JaVale McGee. That's toughness, honestly. So you losing a lot of key players that got you there. And now you got an older Chris Paul who a lot of players are literally finna come after. It may be pretender. And so, yeah, it may look ugly for the Suns next season.
He's a cone.
He's a cone. And like that comment, like that comment going to get a lot of players going at Chris Paul. So, yeah, Devin Booker ain't gonna be able to do it all next season.
I'll say I think they'll be a contender. I think because at this point, like everybody's coming back. We've seen it. Like, I mean, if nothing else, this roster of the Phoenix Suns is what we've seen the past 2 or 3 years. And so for the past 2 or 3 years, they've been a top 2 or top 3 seed in the West, which I think still says for a lot. But I think the huge reason why I think they'll still be a contender is because I'm a big fan of my teams. I think at the end of the day, my team sit everybody down. They're all on the same page. Yes, Chris Paul is up there in age, but I still think Phoenix is one of the deeper teams in terms of the roster. I think they're one of the deeper teams. Okay, that's fine.
In what aspect, though? That's not in what aspect.
Hold on. Let him finish. Hold on. Wait a minute.
You're right. You're right.
At the end of the day, all that to say, I still think that they'll be a contender.
Now, these Phoenix Suns are definitely pretenders. And let me tell you why. Last season, you're right, Scott. For the last 2 seasons, right, the Suns have gotten to the top of the Western Conference. They've been able to beat the teams in their division. Not going to be the same this year. When you're talking about Golden State, talking about the Clippers, Lakers, Suns, and Kings, all the 5 teams within that division. That's going to be, to me, it's one of the toughest divisions within the NBA. And you're telling me 1 out of 5 games you're going to be playing one of them, right? So to speak, because you have to play them 3 to 4 times, right? Body language and chemistry mean a lot. For some reason, you got to get Aiden the hell out of there. He don't want to be there. Get him out of there. They were number 1 seed with JaVale McGee at the center. So Aiden ain't worth that $97 million that you max him for, with him shrugging his shoulders and not giving a fuck about playing basketball. with Phoenix. So he seemed like he wanted to be in Indiana. Go get Miles Turner. What Miles Turner could do for this team, my God, I would definitely call them contenders at that point. But right now, body language, chemistry, I'm calling them pretenders. They still are a playoff team to me, but to me, they're not going to contend in the Western Conference Finals anymore. Chris Paul better find another route to get to his ring. And Devin Booker better just collect his check in Phoenix, because that's it. You talk about the toughness of Jay Crowder being gone. That's huge. Starting Cam Johnson, that's cool. But Cam Johnson was electric coming off the bench. He wasn't electric as he could have been as a starter. So that's huge for them. But again, where there's smoke, there's a fire. And Jay Crowder is supposed to be with them and doesn't want to be there. Chris Paul looks like he doesn't care, and DeAndre Ayton definitely don't care. Yes, Monty Williams is a hell of a coach, but there's only so much you can do with grown men that don't want to be in a situation that they're in. So to me, pretenders in regards to winning the finals. Matter of fact, they're pretenders for even being in the Western Conference Finals. They may make the semis, but to be brought up a good point. They were going, the Pelicans were giving them all they could. And then on top of that, got embarrassed by the Mavericks last season. And the Mavericks actually got better. The Suns did not. The Pelicans did the Suns get better?
No.
Same roster, right?
I'm trying to see what depth. I'm trying to see what depth Skylar talking about. Like, you literally lose your backup center who started for you most games. You got your starting center that don't want to be there. You got a campaign, which of course that's depth at the point guard, but you got Crowder who want to get out. Like, who's calling the shots for the Suns at this point? Are you gonna get equal value back if you are to trade DeAndre Ayton and or Jay Crowder?
And you gotta wait to trade Ayton too.
You gotta wait till January to trade Ayton. Like, man.
So you pretty much they gotta trade him to even be decent, because otherwise this wouldn't just be bad vibes all the way around. So yeah, it's pretender for me. I hope Cam Johnson ain't started. Has he got bigger? At the forward?
He's starting. He's gonna get paid too. That's gonna be another issue.
Who's starting at forward? Him or Mikal Bridges? I nailed one of my forwards.
I think they have Mikal at the 3, right?
Mm-hmm. They're gonna put Cam Johnson at the 4. They're gonna pay him too, which may be another big issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, they finna pay him.
Yeah, sometimes when a team's window, so Scott to be on his own in this one. Sometimes the team window closes. They got to the finals. They had a 2-0 lead.
We saw the sunrise. We're watching the sunset.
Last year, they had the best record in the league. And they went flat in a game 7 at home and lost by 40. That's the flavor. Players want out. Players not getting along with coach. Monty Williams is a heck of a coach. Chris Paul is still Chris Paul. They still, like I said, they'll probably be a playoffs. And what's ever said, this is why you got to capitalize and make it to the finals. I think their run as a true contender, winning a championship, is over. They are pretenders. They'll probably still find a way to playoffs because it is Chris Paul, still is Devin Booker, still is Monty Williams. But they won't get going until they find a way to trade DeAndre Ayton. And they can't do that until January. So that's when. Whew, that was a good one, man. That's just a start. They might be the least of these teams, the least drama of these teams that I'm about to name. Let's go to none other than the Los Angeles Lakers. Speaking of a cone, the person who called Chris Paul the cone is now there. They also signed Dennis Schroeder, and they still got Russell Westbrook. A player who don't want to be there, a player they don't want to be there. Lakers. You still got Anthony Davis if he's healthy, and LeBron James is healthy, who is also as Chris Paul is another year older at age 38. At some point, he can't average 30 points no more. If he still do, then hey, I know. I mean, he can, but I'm saying like every year carrying the team is at some point he can't do that no more. So Anthony Davis is going to stay healthy, and do we trust that to happen? Lakers, contenders, pretenders. What y'all say?
As much as I want to say contenders, because it's still LeBron, it's still AD. That's the commandment that we're gonna follow on this podcast, because it is a commandment. If a player show you who you are, you gotta believe them. As much as I want to say contender, because it's still LeBron James, and I don't want to disrespect him, Anthony Davis ain't gonna stay healthy, especially if you're trying to use him more. That just don't sound right. So Anthony Davis could either win MVP or they gonna be out of the play-ins again. So I'm gonna still say pretenders, and that's too many question marks.
No, exact same. I'm naming the pretenders for the exact same reason, is that I don't trust Anthony Davis to play a full season. Like, even if you think like back to the bubble, their saving grace was the fact that there was a bubble, and so there was a time period in which nobody could play. Which exactly. So there's that. And so essentially, so there's that. But I just don't trust Anthony Davis to get healthy. Anthony Davis, I promise to hand to God, if he was always available, or he only played like 75, 76 games of the season, literally a top 5, top 6 player in the league, hands down, every single year.
Easily.
But he's never healthy. That's the thing. So he won't be healthy. To what Savage already said, Russell Westbrook is still on the team. I don't care if you're a Westbrook fan or not. We've seen that experiment not work. We've seen that. And I've always wished that since LeBron has been on the Lakers, that he's had a point guard that's capable of shooting. He's not had that. And so he still does not have that. So they will still continue to struggle from the 3-point line. They will still struggle from the free throw line, which nobody talks about. They were terrible from the free throw line last year. Now, granted, Darvin Ham is there, and so I think they'll be better defensively because they also needed that. But Westbrook is still on the team. Anthony Davis is still on the team. Yes, LeBron James is still on the team, but I don't see them contending for a championship.
What, Anthony Davis hurt in the bubble?
I mean,
no, he was healthy then. That's why they won.
He may have been nicked up. Come on now.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
But
I thought, of course, I know he played, but it's
he
like
was good enough to play.
Yeah,
he was. You saw how he played in the
I
bubble.
in the bubble actually.
He was best player in the league in the bubble type.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I guess the real question for Lakers is Anthony Davis a contender or a pretender? To be honest, and was he worth everything that they've done for him? Yeah, they got a ring, but I mean, what have we done since then? They're pretenders in regards again to a championship run. I'm gonna say this: they're not the best team in LA, and they are the third best team in California. So that's letting you know that, to me, they're not going. LeBron's going to be LeBron. He's going to will them maybe to the playoffs. I see that. They may get out the first round, may not, but I don't see another season where LeBron doesn't make the playoffs if he's fully healthy. But this rides on Anthony Davis, and again, Anthony Davis has shown us who he is, and he could be a top 5 talent when he's healthy, and it could be a bottom 5 bottom eater when he's not, and he really hurts the team that way. So give me a pretender for this one as well.
And even picking back to LeBron, at older age, injuries. He missed quite a bit of time, especially to start the season last year as well, when they started off slow. So LeBron, AD, healthy, even with Westbrook on the roster, they could make it work if these folks are healthy. Not probably to be a true contender to win championship. They had trade Westbrook to be that. So they're still pretenders, but to be back in the playoff picture, LeBron and AD will have to remain healthy. And like I said, LeBron getting older in age, injuries will creep up more as well. So they got to find another way. Because Anthony Davis, you definitely don't trust him to stay healthy for whatever reason. I mean, is he still in his 20s? Like 28 or 29 now.
Bro's like Benjamin Button. He might be about 47 at this point.
I thought that question was for Russell Westbrook's 3-point field goal percentage.
That's that high? Oh, that's a real question. I'm dead serious. Yeah, I'm interested now. I thought it was lower than that.
Hey, cuz
I know he want to keep his last name, man. So I ain't gonna call him Russell Westbrook, but
29.8.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
29.8.
That's terrible. And that's another reason why the Lakers still gonna be pretenders, bro.
And also, the people they drafted, his enemies, even if they trade him and they play them, Pat Bev good for some corner threes, a couple of them, but he ain't like just no world beater. And doing the shooting, he's never been a shooter. So it's still
tell me you desperate without actually telling me that you desperate.
So
he made 2 3-pointers over the summer, and then all of a sudden he getting signed a contract.
Even Steve Adams made some threes in training camp this week. Oh man. All right. Next. Brooklyn Nets. That's probably the most smoke, as it's always the most smoke because we have Kevin Durant fan on here. But Brooklyn Nets, of course, you got the drama. KD asked for a trade, trade to get, it didn't happen. He's still there. He didn't look happy at his thing either. But we all know KD. KD just want to ball. He gonna go out there ball regardless, whether he happy or not. Well, he hasn't been happy in a while, apparently, since he probably left OKC. But that's neither near nor there. Kevin Durant's gonna ball. Kyrie's gonna ball when he's available. So it's kind of another Anthony Davis situation. And Ben Simmons, another Anthony Davis situation. Are they going to play? Is Brooklyn contenders or pretenders?
Oh, they straight up contenders. I mean, ain't no question about it. I mean, look at the team that they got. And to answer your questions, everybody in training camp are healthy. So right now, everybody is on pace to play. You get Steve Nash get a full off season with his team, and he's been with the team for 3 years. Scotty rolling your eyes like that, but it's cool, bro. Just have fun doing it. But you got, like I said, this team chemistry already that's seemed like it's formed. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to see on the court. But you got you got literally a team full of pissed off players that the NBA has disrespected over the last few years. You got Kevin Durant, who's been disrespected, to some since the Warriors. Kyrie's been disrespected since he's been drafted. And you got Ben Simmons that's been disrespected for the last 2 years. So you got just a combination of players that just want to win. You know what I'm saying? You got Steve Nash, who, is he still a good coach? The jury's still out for Steve Nash. I give y'all that one. But you gave him a full offseason. You gave him a full training camp to get three of the best, some of the 3 best players in the NBA together. It's gonna be a great season. I got the Nets, at least the top 4, top 5 seed. They won't be in the play-in. But when it comes down to it, they got great defenders. They got great length. They're gonna be there when it's talking. So I definitely can't wait to see what you got to say, Skylar, because you're gonna be with the crowd.
So to close your ears, because I'm only gonna talk to Sharky and Sheedy. So just
what you got?
And I'm gonna tell you what I'm about. See, I'm gonna tell you my problem with Took. Took likes to preach when we all say that when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. He says that about everybody else but the Brooklyn Nets. Ladies and gentlemen, what he
and Savage. And Savage.
I mean, come on, Sharky. Let's come.
I mean, so what? Well, okay, we're gonna talk about it. What?
I'll let you talk. I'm gonna draw all these Uno. And I promise you, in about 60 seconds, I'm gonna Uno out, and I'm gonna pass it to Sheedy.
Okay, keep going, because I may gotta drop 2 or drop 4 ready for
we tell you on this podcast, and we have been telling you for years that when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. If they have injury issues, if they can't shoot, if they consistently complete only 50% of their passes, when they show you who they are, believe them. You say that about everybody else except the Panthers and the Brooklyn Nets.
I'm waiting on you to make an actual point instead of saying what I do. I'm waiting on you to make an actual point.
My point has been Kevin Durant has been hurt, and we've seen that for the past couple of seasons. Let's call a spade a spade. Kyrie Irving is going to be there in the regular season. I believe that. I think he's going to be there, but at some point he's going to get hurt in the postseason. And then Ben Simmons, I think he'll shoot a jumper or 2 this season. But what is he going to look like when it comes to the postseason? So at the end of the day, my point is the Brooklyn Nets are a pretender. Because why? Because they have been pretenders for the past couple of years. And what about this upcoming season is any different? Uno out.
The players that they got, the fact that they actually had an offseason together, a bunch of things. But you know what? Uno out, bro. I ain't gonna even play this drop 2 I had waiting for you guys, but it's cool. But you got people just saying Ben Simmons don't shoot. Ben Simmons, okay, look up his numbers and say the people that actually around.
Because he doesn't shoot.
It don't matter. If I got the opportunity to get the best shooters in the world around me open, I ain't gotta shoot the damn ball.
It matters. You can't just say people say he don't shoot.
It don't. It don't. If you got a team, you got this kind of team, it won't. Trust me. Okay. And he gonna start shooting this season.
Oh boy, let the time tick, and I cannot wait.
I can't even, because y'all just people like you that disrespected the Nets all off season, bro. I saw through the smoke and mirrors. I know KD wasn't going nowhere. I knew Kyrie wasn't going nowhere, bro. Like people like you are what drove ESPN and all them to have good ratings as far as the Nets go. Congratulations, bro. Congratulations, because when the Nets ball out, it's gonna be crazy.
I'm sorry, I forgot. I told you I don't know that.
Worry about your Lakers.
So, my praying hands I was hoping that Tuke didn't, and he did not. Thank you so much, Tuke. He talked about all the players that the Nets got. And recently he's been talking about this guy. I think Royce the 5'9". Royce O'Neal, that's who it was. About him. The Jazz didn't care about him. But I give you Kyrie. I give you Joe. I'm looking at the roster. I see a Ben Simmons. I see a KD. I see a team, Patty Mills. I see a team that's definitely in the playoffs. But I'm sorry. We're still forgetting about the best power forward in the league, and who was ranked better and higher, right? Is Giannis. I still don't believe, and I'm glad you brought up this point. To win a championship is not just the players on the floor, but it's got to be the coach. And I mean, God dog.
Fair point.
Steven got his ass whooped last season by a rookie coach. A cheating rookie coach. Got his ass beat. All right?
That went to the NBA Finals.
And he did, and he had sex then too. However, I do not believe that the Nets are ready to be contenders in the East for the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay? TJ Warren hasn't played. Yes, thank you. And I thought he was going to be comeback player of the year. That man ain't came back since the Commodores broke up with Lionel Richie, okay? I don't care about him. I don't care about Nick Claxton. I don't give a damn about a lot of these players on this goddamn roster. I'll give you KD, I will give you Kyrie, and I will give you Ben Simmons, and I will tell you all of those players, two of those players were champions because of another player on their team. They will not lead this Nets team to the finals, and they may not even make the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, the reason I would give you the Eastern Conference Finals is because the Celtics are stupid and don't want to get rid of that's neither here nor there. But they may not even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And last time I checked, in the playoff scenario, if the Bucks got to see the Nets, the Bucks win that one.
Or do they?
The proof was in the pudding. Ask Bill Cosby. The toe was on the line.
That's enough. That's enough. Because you will not reference that man on this show. The proof was in the pudding. Ask Bill Cosby.
Savage said he kept her through the hard way because she just cleared out of pocket. Oh man, shout out to my guy, the Power Hour, tuning in, man. Respect, man. Appreciate you, Power Hour, man. Check out his show every Monday. Talking Titans and NFL. You see the mic now. It's muted, Savage. It's muted. All right, man. It's a bunch of pretenders with me, man. Once the team show you who they are, believe them. Even if you happen to let me know that Kevin Durant is going to remain healthy, that Kyrie is going to be there, that Ben Simmons is going to be there. Because, yes, those three together, if they're there, kind of like we said about LeBron and AD, yeah, that's the championship team. Even with those players, if TJ Warren happens to be healthy, that's a great addition. If Royce O'Neal she'll help out. Joe, what's the man's name? Joe, the shooter, Joe Harris, he's back. Like, they have the squad, right? Ben Simmons with a bunch of shooters. Tuke, you said to yourself, you question Steve Nash. That's my answer. Just like she just said.
That's right.
Coaching matters in the NBA, no matter who you got. Steve Kerr was a good coach. People try and discredit, act like he just got this great team. Steve Kerr can coach. Go stay and win the championships because he can't coach. He can actually coach. Steve Nash, coaching matters. This would be Steve Nash's proven year. Kevin Durant apparently wanted another coach for a reason. He apparently made that demand for a reason. He know. They're pretenders, long as Steve Nash is their head coach. Now they could. What Cleveland did that year, they fired David Blatt, what's his name, and they got Ty Lue in the midseason. They could do stuff like that, and it could. And information would change. And Savage quote, information could change.
Come on, Udoka. This is a team full of everybody that hate. Come on, Udoka. Everybody hates this team. Come on.
Let the story finish.
Come on. Piss these people off, bro. Because I'm getting tired of y'all being straight up too disrespectful, bro. Y'all being too disrespectful. And I get it, you know. Whatever, bro.
What Ryan just say?
At this point,
that gay reason.
I'm just ready to disrespecting.
So I'm just expecting Steve Nash after you said you got a question about him.
No. Let's see. I gave you C Nash. I gave you C Nash. You good. I think it's I think it's just really to the person that's got this good night season on. It's really good night for him, but it is what it is, bro.
I'm gonna ask one more question. I'm gonna ask one more question, and then I'm done. I'm pretty sure there's a book that all four of us have read multiple times, and no matter how many times you read that book, the beginning, the middle, and the end of that book is going to be the exact same. This is the Brooklyn Nets. We're literally reading the exact same book that we have been reading for the past 3 to 4 years. For Took to be super excited about the Brooklyn Nets before the season started, and I promise you, Took, I promise you, Sheedy, and I promise you, Sharky, come May, he's going to look the exact same way that he did this past May. Why? Because the Brooklyn Nets are going to show him yet again they do not have the leaders by Steve Nash, by Kevin Durant, by Kyrie Irving to push through and get to the finals. I promise you it's going to happen. And you call me disrespectful, and I'm only telling you, I'm reading the same book that I've read for the past 3 or 4 years. That's all I'm doing.
Cool.
What is that? Right. So you
might just read the cover title in the back and think he read the book, but it's cool.
You get new character the book though.
What is it, Miss Marvel? Yeah.
You know, Savage. Savage. I always got to come in.
Stop. We done, Savage. We done. At this point, they just got a ball, bro. At this point, they just got a ball.
You're right. They got a ball. You're right.
They ain't saying yeah, I'm just saying they say they still don't solve the Steve Nash problem. That's all we see you saying. All right, the last team, since you alluded to him, Took Ime Udoka, the Boston Celtics, another team with a bunch of turmoil stuff going on, even including leak report coming out that they was including Jaylen Brown in trade for Kevin Durant. So is Jaylen Brown going one out? You know, a whole bunch of different stuff going on. Jason Tatum getting a lot of smoke this offseason for his finals performance. They have no, I guess I said they have no coach. They have an interim coach. I forgot his name. Another black guy, of course. Malika Andrews getting a lot of smoke this week about comments and stuff going on there. But that's neither here nor there. Pretenders, contenders, Boston Celtics.
Shout out to Rachel Nichols for coming back too, bro. That's a topic we can talk about on 3 the Hardaway or something. I don't care, but shout out to her for coming back. She's a real one. But for me, it's still gonna be contenders. Of course, losing Ime Udoka hurts, but you got a better roster, a more rounded roster this year, and hopefully you get a players that you're gonna need healthier in the situations that matter. But like I said, you still got Jason Tatum. People get on him for being a no-show in the finals, which I get 100%. But I think is a time where young players do get fatigued and they go into the offseason knowing that, like even Michael Jordan went into that, you know what I'm saying, a season getting his ass whooped by the Pistons offseason and came back a kind of, I ain't gonna say a different player, but mentally sharper player. I think that's what we'll see with Jason Tatum, because we did see kind of his rise in the playoffs.
I'm sorry, you said he was kicking ass in the playoffs?
Huh? No, they were kicking his ass. No, Jason Tatum wasn't with his thing though. No, I'm saying like Michael Jordan. When I was
I just want to
Pistons whooping Michael Jordan ass, he had to go into the offseason, do his thing. Hopefully, Jason Tatum did the same thing. Jaylen Brown, I'm getting tired for the trade rumors. You gonna trade him or not? Just go ahead and do it. But I still, like I said, with the team they got, the veterans they got Malcolm Brogdon. I think they still gonna be contenders.
Yeah, so literally what Ryan just said and what you just said too. I think that addition of Malcolm Brogdon is going to be able to stabilize everything, in my opinion, that's going on with the Celtics in the offseason, because he's a true point guard. I think he's one of those, tough-minded, tough-nosed like point guards that's going to be able to keep that whole, if there's a rift between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and the organization, I think he'll be able to keep all of that together. I'm not sure exactly what the culture will look like, so that's concerning for if I'm a Boston Celtics fan. But I think from a roster perspective, and we saw Jason Tatum take his game to a new level this past postseason, I think Jaylen Brown's also going to feel like he has something to prove as well. So I think, we'll see a difference in him a little bit when the postseason comes. So I think from a roster perspective, I believe they'll still be contenders. My concern is who their head coach is going to be.
Yeah, I had to make a note real quick because you said that Jason Tatum was kicking ass, and if I remember correctly, someone's ass he kicked in the playoffs was the Nets. But that's neither here nor there. Just wanted to, hear what you had to say. Joe Mozilla, whatever his name is, Thugzilla, is coming in.
Godzilla.
Yeah. Versus King Kong. I don't see it happening. Now, unless this is a talented roster. Again, similar, i.e. a little bit, is a talented roster. If Brad Stevens pulls a Pat Riley, I think this becomes a contender team, such as what happened in 05-06 with Miami when Stan Van Gundy stepped down, Pat Riley stepped up, boom. But I don't think Lightning's going to strike twice in terms of a first-year head coach taking them all the way again. I think there is some, I feel like those first 15 to 20 games, they're going to be talking about this whole Ime thing for a while anyway, which I think is stupid, but media doesn't have anything else to talk about, right? And it's going to be kind of lurking over their heads. But
they got a lot more to talk about. Trust me, they just don't.
Yeah, you're right. But I think if Brad Stevens is at the helm with this roster, yes, they may make it out the East again. But without that, again, if I'm talking about coaching matters, I don't see again another rookie head coach taking them all the way to the finals. They have the talent to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and definitely the semis, but I'm not sure if they can make it all the way. So for that, I will say pretenders. But again, information can change if Brad Stevens says, hey, you know what? I'm ready to step back down for a moment and be a coach, a la Pat Riley.
This might be the toughest one of the 4 teams that I chose today. Because if the stuff Ime Udoka comes out, it's easy, right? And it's kind of hard to super judge the coach because we haven't seen him coach. Like, I've seen Steve Nash coach, right? So, okay, that was easy. Hey, I don't, to Nets get a new coach, even if everything else go well, I don't trust them to coach. Phoenix, they do have a coach, but I don't trust the roster and the turmoil going on. The Celtics roster is not turmoil, and they did get better with Malcolm Brogdon. Janelle Gallinari tore his ACL, but they signed Blake Griffin. Big man is their problem. Fat Boy Fat just said they lack size. Robert Williams is out. Anthony Davis. Robert Williams has injury history, and even during the playoffs and finals, as I'm saying, Temple about to go touchdown Memphis. But Robert Williams, same thing. He always has knick-knack injuries. Dang, I want to say contender so bad. Dang, I can't get this no incomplete. I'm gonna go ahead and say contender. With potential information could change because, like she said, I could basically see. Stafford just said a slow start. They had last year concerns him. That's another thing. Without Ime Udoka, it's like they start slow this year. Are they gonna get it together? Like it's those questions. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say contender. But she did make a great point. When Miami made this switch, I could very well see Brad Stevens, if we do start off slow, say I'm coming down. And that can be the big difference because Brad Stevens was a good coach, man. I don't think nobody thought he was no slouch. So if that happens, and I think that would happen if that happens, and that's why I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt contender because I don't know if Brooklyn is necessarily gonna fire Steve Nash. They might just go ahead and try and trade KD and Kyrie if things go AWOL instead of firing Steve Nash during the season. And I trust Boston would make the switch. So that'll be the.
I think the scheme for Boston is they bring in Brogdon off the bench too, and I think that may hurt him for whatever reason. What you think?
It couldn't, because he can score. He got better offensive game than Marcus Smart, and I don't know who else off the bench is going to score as well. So I think it could help and hurt, but I think eventually he could start as well. So I think starting out is not a bad idea because there needs to scoring off the bench, and Marcus Smart is not a scorer. So you'll probably much rather start him.
Yeah, and we've seen this on the tail of the tape before, even like Christian Wood's not going to be starting for the Mavericks, which I think is abysmal. But it's about who's going to finish the game, who's going to get more minutes anyway. I think they're going to find a way to put Malcolm Brogdon into that lineup with Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and whoever plays the 4 or 5 position. But I wouldn't be too upset about who starts at this point, to be honest. They got to figure some things out first and foremost, and then they'll get it together. But yeah, Brad Stevens, if you're listening, you might need to go ahead and get ready. Get your polos ready.
And Ryan gonna use our slogan. Let's be real. Tell us we're lucky to make the finals last year. You can say that about anybody. You can say Golden State was lucky to make it. Ja Morant got hurt. Desmond Bain got hurt. You know what I'm saying? Right.
I still got the Celtics beating the Bucks.
Look as a part of the game.
Like, look, it happens every year.
Look as a part
Kevin Durant foot was on the line, and James Harden and Kyrie was hurt in this series against the Bucks a couple years ago. Like, it's every year, everybody gets lucky in some form and fashion. The Cincinnati Bengals last year in the playoffs, stuff happens. We do got one question for our guy, my guy, the Power Hour, man. So you just tuned in, but which team would be the most fun to watch this season? Man, we changed this and add S at the end with teams. I got a couple off the top of my head. The Memphis Grizzlies, of course.
Yeah, I mean, if we keeping it a spade, a buck, might as well.
Ja Morant looking exciting anymore. I'm trying to come videos got me determined. They ready. Detroit Pistons got a lot of young talent. Cleveland Cavaliers. Honestly, things hit right for the 4 teams we just mentioned. They gonna be fun in some form of fashion. Whether by turmoil or whatever. New Orleans, Zion is back. So y'all got some more teams. Those are the four that came off the top of my head.
Dallas.
No.
You said who?
Dallas for sure.
Dallas, yeah. What fun. Luka is fun, yeah.
Luka's fine, man.
Yeah. Orlando, I can see that.
He's been on this Orlando train for the last 2 months, bro.
See that a little bit. I want to see Paolo. I do want to see Paolo, man. I do want to see him get Atlanta for sure, though.
I'm gonna say 2 teams, but I still want to go back to the Grizzlies point. But I'm going back to the Grizzlies point because this take foul has now been taken out of the game, which I am so it is over with. So now you can almost multiply times 1 or times 2 or times 3 the amount more like fast break opportunities you'll see that Ja Morant and his team get to have. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that them taking that take foul out of the game. I think it's going to open. I think you're going to see way more highlights on fast breaks than you normally do throughout the year. But I also think I still want to throw Atlanta in there. I really like that backcourt. Now I'm not saying I'm not sure what the heck they're gonna do, but I just like that backcourt that is Dejounte Murray and Trae Young, and then also them still having the front court that they have too. So I think that's another one.
I'm just trying to name a team that we haven't said yet, and I'm gonna go mile high and go with the Nuggets. I want to see Jamal, Bones, MPG, Michael Porter Jr. as well, coming back from his injuries. And I mean, this team has been a shell of itself with just Joker, right? What can they do now with the MVP and this talent coming back? I hate to say this, I know I'm from Ohio, but the Cavs I think are going to be really fun to watch. And I just want to see more from Evan Mobley as well, who I believe is a up and coming talent. And I'm gonna be honest with you. One other team that I would want to see play more often, because they have a lot of like forwards, and I don't know how this is working, is the Toronto Raptors, man. Scotty Barnes, that team, Fred VanVleet, Precious Achiuwa. This was a 6-seeded team last season, and I believe they can still do really well. And I'm looking forward to see what kind of, not highlights, but how well they play and gel in this upcoming season.
I'm ready to see Ant-Man take his next step too. I think that's gonna be fun to watch as well.
Yep, the shooting guard Ant-Man. Shooting guard Ant-Man.
Yeah, shooting guard Ant-Man. Damn ESPN. And a part of me want to say the Nets, but shit, we already talked about them so much, and I ain't trying to hear that be a bullshit about Scholar no more. So
that's why I said the 4 teams he talked about will be fun to watch too in some form or fashion.
If I control for half a second, I still want to see this backcourt of Patrick Beverly and Russell Westbrook. I still want to see that. I don't care what.
And Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
Austin Reeves.
Don't forget Dennis Schroeder now.
I did.
You said Dennis Schroeder.
Shout out to the fun too. Actually, I don't think San Francisco be that much of a clown show this year. During the regular season, they are Doc Rivers and James Harden are good for regular seasons. Playoffs,
They're gonna be number one in the East.
Playoffs though?
Not yet, right? Playoffs. Oh, hey.
You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? He just did it again. He just did it again because he.
I see what you're talking
did
about.
it again. You walked him right into it, Sharky. You walked him right into it. Yes, he just did it again. You say that about everybody.
Wow.
Come on now.
That's true.
Walked him right into it. I was waiting for somebody to do that.
Man,
Did it again.
I played the fifth on you too. I don't know what to say.
My last fade of the day.
Ah, man. But always fun, man. No show next week. I just got a dog one in. No show next week, man.
I was scared him.
All right. He did, though.
That what you get, karma.
That dog ain't nothing but 2 rolls of toilet paper big, bro. How that dog scare you?
That's hilarious. But yeah, man, no show next week. Man, we all gonna hang out. She to be in the town. Hopefully, Trail should be back when we come back in a couple weeks. We do got started 5. Memphis Grizzlies content coming for you. Recording tomorrow, should be out Monday or Tuesday. Also, 3 the Hardaway should be out coming up over the next couple of days as well. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, LBR_media. Listen and subscribe on YouTube live Saturday mornings or after the show. And of course, the other 11 podcasting platforms that you can listen to us on: Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, iHeart, you name it. And follow me on Twitter at DAONE_P Shark.
At _Scott Lead on Twitter.
It's really shitty.
At Nets over checks. Y'all be easy.
Really. Tell Shakir, y'all. Also, follow Trail for the art of Trevor. And I got Savage, of course, 3 the Hardaway and LBR Media, M Savage 901. Shout out to Ryan, man. Said great show, fellas. Appreciate it. Also, Fat Boy Fadeaway said great show as well. Shout out to y'all for tuning in, always supporting. Also, Dom, I got Dom who tuned in earlier, Savage tuning in, and I got a power hour. But till next time, y'all, peace.
Stay colored.